Welcome to the first episode. Time to get chatted up. Let's get it. Hey everybody, welcome to Chatted Up. I am Chris Berger. I am an aggressively, successfully recovering child of God. Like that Showtime, that's for you, boy. I love you, brother. So anyways, Chatted Up is something that just kind of came to my heart this morning, really out of nowhere. I was into my coffee and my worship music and my workout and just doing my thing this morning, man, and it just kind of came to me like, look, you have been blessed with hey, I've got a little backstory myself, but this is in no way a me channel. It's a we channel, and I have been blessed to come to know and be in contact with some really amazing, interesting, inspiring, wise, just successful people. And I don't get me wrong, not everybody that is going to be on here are doctors and lawyers. I mean, I got buddies still in the streets dealing with active addiction, all the way up to teachers and preachers and everybody in between, man. But they've all got this story and these experiences, and I just feel like there's so many people that can be touched by the wisdom and just their testimony that they have to offer, that it's like, it just hit me. It's like, this is what it is. You're going to start this thing, and it's going to be a platform to get all those stories and testimonies out there, and hopefully reach some people. I mean, if we get one total, great, it was worth it. If we can get one per episode, man, that would be amazing. But this is like literally ground zero. Probably should have got my ducks in a row, but that's not really how I roll. It's like I get something really in my heart and on my mind, and I feel like it. I just kind of, I jump off the porch, man, and we'll work out the bugs as we go, and we'll just kind of, it's never going to be scripted, just always organic, and let it grow into what it grows into. But I felt like I was called to do this, so it is what it is. And like I said, I've got a bit of a backstory, but this is not going to be a me thing. I guess I'll give a brief rundown of me in a minute, as far as who I am, where I've been, what I'm about, where I'm headed. But then after today, it's going to be I've already got my first three guests locked down, and I've got probably 10 more people already that have just been on my mind and my heart, that have such amazing testimonies and insights and knowledge, that I feel like there's going to be somebody somewhere that just gets what they needed, or something that they didn't know they needed out of it, and that's the goal. So, all right, so I've jumped locations a little bit, just come out of the Walmart. Literally, like, this whole thing was an epiphany / vision, just something that hit me 2 hours ago. No lights, no set, no mics, none of that. I mean, I've made a few Facebook reels and videos, but on my phone. I've had a laptop for like pushing 2 years. I don't really even know how to use the thing. So equipment was zero. I did go into Walmart, got me this handy dandy creator light. Not real sure what we're going to do with that. I did get a mic kit, so hopefully we get some decent sound on the rest of this video. Way more, that's just for today. And then you know, this guy right here, that's just basically a prop so I can get I've got an idea for the thumbnail picture for this channel, and that was the key player. So I'm going to grab some lunch, kind of collect my thoughts, head home. Got a ton of work stuff I need to get done, but I had to get this going while it was just fresh on me, man. Like I said, normal people would probably plan this out for weeks or months or years, and XYZs and dotted their T's, but not me. Like I said, we're forward progress is better than no progress. So yeah, to be continued. All right, rolling, live action. The mic didn't work out. It was kind of ringy, so don't know what this is going to turn out like. It's just on my phone. I got the little light rocking, you know, with the cool shades effect. Zero plan is what I'm saying right now. I'm in the basement. I spent a lot of time in here. We'll get to that later on. So, well, all right, action. So I said I would start this this first show. I would give a rundown about me and who I am, and let you all kind of get to know me if you don't already. I'd say the majority of y'all watching are people that I grew up with or have come to know in the last few years. My name is Chris Berger. Like I said before, I'm a child of God. We decided at our Celebrating Freedom group last night that we will no longer refer to ourselves as recovering addicts, because we're not addicts anymore. We are successful, functioning humans contributing to society, and man, it feels good to be able to say that. Might as well just get right to it. I'm going to set the tone for these future episodes, and like I said, the quality and content are going to be much better. This is like literally, this whole idea is maybe 3 hours old at this point, maybe 4 tops. Zero experience with what the hell I'm doing. The lighting's, I guess, could be worse, but we'll get there. This is the equivalent of Amazon selling its first book, or you know, Ford bolting together its first car. I mean, you got to start somewhere. You got to crawl before you walk. Today we're crawling. The next show, I promise, we'll be walking, and then holler at me a year from now. We're going to be running marathons, because we're going to progressively grow and get better at what we're trying to do. Main thing's content. Secondly, production quality. I want it to be pretty decent. But we'll get there. Today is not the day for that. Today is the day to, as I said, launch this thing. Give you my mission statement, which I pretty much already have. So now we'll get into the to me and my story and where I came from. Currently 46 years old. Grew up, had a really good family. Didn't know my real dad. My mom married my stepdad, Ray Berger, who great human being. He was. Anyway, she married him when I was 4. He adopted me, raised me as his own son, and that, I mean, when I refer to my dad, that's who I'm talking about. As far as I'm concerned, that is my father. Great family, very loving, supportive, great family. All right. Hadn't really publicly talked about this until last night at our group. Maybe 5 or 6 people on the planet know about this up until last night, and I shared it with a group of maybe 15 guys, a few of which, like, I really consider my brothers, and I love them tremendously. Can't grow if you don't go, so let's just get it. I had some weird shit happen to me when I was probably 6 to 8 years old. I'm not going to put a name on it. It doesn't matter. It wasn't my parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles or anybody like that. I was 6 or 8 and they were 10 years older than me. It was some sexual stuff. I mean, it's, you know, there's a great deal of shame that comes along with that, but I'll tell you right now, I was 6 then, I'm 46 now. It would not fly today. Matter of fact, if I even thought you were trying that on somebody else and I was around, I'd body you and box it up and take it to trial. Worst case, smile on my mugshot. But I was 6 and I didn't stand a chance. So anyways, you got something to say about it, slide through. And not saying that is an excuse or a crutch by any means or stretch of the imagination. I do, however, think that that had to have some kind of effect on, like, my emotional development, coping strategies, or, you know, survival techniques, or whatever the terms are. Man, I really need to get back to my therapist probably and like really getting a deep end on that. And I can't imagine it not having an adverse effect on my development and just my personality, or, you know, just life skills. I guess I think it come back to bite me in the ass later on. And I'm not saying that, you know, that caused me to go do drugs or anything like that. Now, I am going to say that looking back, maybe it played a part in me to continue to do drugs, or, you know, alcohol, or womanize. Actually, I don't know if you're familiar with the term ACEs. It's adverse childhood conditions. You can Google, like, the long-term effects of childhood sexual abuse, and obviously I'm using my phone, I can't look it up, but the ones I remember, and there were several: drug use, criminal activity, trouble building and maintaining healthy relationships. And man, that's something that, like, you know, I thought I always, you know, when I was partying, or, you know, had a drug problem, or was drinking, it's like, you know, I quit that and it's just like, boom, everything's fixed. And it's like, it's not necessarily the case, but we'll get to that down the road. So anyways, yeah, that popped off when I was 6 to 8. Of course, it never happened again after those weeks or months. I'm not really sure. Like I said, it's not something that I carry around in my pocket and take out and look at every day and feel sorry for myself, or for that matter, think about how much it sucked. But if anything, I flushed it. Now, it pops back up sometimes, but you know what? This is a season of growth and healing, and we're going to break them chains. Like, I've been dragging that crap around for 40 years, and yeah, this is the last year. Like, I'm done with it. But yeah, anyways, so jump out of that. I was a good kid. My dad, he taught school for many, many years. He was a geology teacher. He taught Bible history back when that was allowable. So you think back, you know, the Stone Age, when that was cool or allowed. He was really good at both things. He was also a preacher, and he baptized me in the, matter of fact, I was, the very beginning of this video, I was sitting in a church parking lot, Elliston Baptist, born and raised here, but that's where he preached at the time, and they didn't have a baptism pool or whatever. Then I would imagine, I'd like to say I was around 10, maybe 10 to 12. I'm not real sure. I got baptized by him in the creek behind the church, because that's just where we did it back in. And it was a conscious decision. Like I knew enough. Like it wasn't just something that they coaxed me into. Like I knew. And this channel, I will definitely it will have some faith-based religious undertones and content, because I will be completely honest. I'm very active in my walk with God, and being involved in my church. I'm not going to name the name of the church. A lot of y'all already know. Hopefully I can get some new people that really don't know anything about me, but I'm not going to disclose that at this time until I maybe get some clearance from some people to even affiliate myself publicly with them, because this is not going to be a completely churchy show. Like, yeah, it's going to have some undertones and some content, and the first people that are going to be on here are my brothers from church, two guys that I love very dearly. Yeah. Hey, I'm doing a lot better than I did last night when all this first come out. But anyways, so you know, Dad was a teacher and a preacher and did pretty good. Was a really good kid, and then, you know, middle school started, you know, I think I started sneaking cigarettes when I was 10 from my mama. By the time I was 12, I had it down to where I could get a whole pack out of the carton and then shake them down and then stuff them back and leave the void in the back of the carton to where it looked like it was still as full as it was before I got her. So I was smoking whole packs within, you know, days or weeks at age 12. Tried pot when I was probably, I don't know, 14, 15, something like that, maybe 13, and just not a lot of major stuff. I'd say 18, 19 years old though, 19, 20 maybe. Well, I was definitely like tried some cocaine, 18, 19. I'd have to do my math here. Got introduced with meth when it was kind of first hitting around here, and man, I spent wasted a lot of my life wrapped up in that lifestyle. I remember, like, I'm talking back when it first hit, before it was coming in from the super labs in Mexico and all this ice or whatever, but it was like, it was homemade, but we were using, or people were using bed sheets for filters and garbage cans for the container. Nowadays it's downsized to coffee filters in like a 20-ounce pop bottle. So I mean, that's, I've been around the block with that and battled that addiction. Oh, man, I guess the majority of my adult life. Actually caught a felony in 2001 for trafficking a small, minuscule amount. Ended up, which it got me clean. I did a little bit of time, not a lot, like 6 months. Had 5 years probation. Got me clean. It got me up out of here. My mom and dad at the time, she had joined the Air Force and was in Dayton, Ohio. And we had it planned out that when I got out of jail, I would move up there and start fresh, which was a great idea. And that's one thing I tell anybody that, you know, I'm trying to witness to or help through addiction and recovery. It's like, you got to get away from the same old people and the same circle, man. It's hard enough to do it with a fresh start and a good support system, but a lot of these people have no support system or resources at their disposal, and they're just stuck in the same, like, and don't get me wrong, where there's a will, there's a way. But man, I mean, a lot of you fellas out there, like, I'm not saying you're alcoholics, but you get out cutting the grass or putting burgers on the grill or something like that, man. Good hot day, ice cold beer tastes pretty good. So imagine, you know, it's 85, sunny, the grill's rocking, and you ain't got nothing around you to drink but beer, and you now you was going to quit drinking beer 2 days ago, but it's awful tempting today. You see what I'm saying? So my heart goes out to people like that, man. I've been blessed with a really good support system, and still screwed up like a lot. So anyways, moved to Dayton, doing good, sober. Ended up as doing some punch out for a land development company that would do like prefab low income housing. Ended up going to welding school, which I did pretty good at. I'm pretty good with my hands, and was waiting on that certification to hit at school because it was a whole lot cheaper, and it was a couple week course that I could test out basically every day until I passed, or pay 3 times as much and it's one and done somewhere else, and you know, you fail. So I was waiting on that, and long story short, I ended up going to work for the painters. Was doing really good. Man, I don't know what. Now I did meet a couple. Actually, one of my best friends now. I have 2. One of them I met up there in Dayton. Raph, I love your homie. But before him, I had 2 best friends. Actually, I had 3 best friends. Johnny had a tattoo shop, and he was really cool. And then my buddy Greg had a it was a bar. It was like a strip mall, and like the best tattoo shop. And Johnny was just a beast. I love that guy to death, man. He was super cool dude, and so was Greg. But the tattoo shop was here, and then you cut back to Breezeway, and actually the bar's name for a brief time was the Breezeway. It was back in the cut. So, I mean, started off drinking, and you know, and then my other little buddy was Drew. He was only 20 years old. We were painting together, and he already in Ohio. If you have so many DUIs, they will give you a yellow license plate, so you stick out like a sore thumb to not only the public but police officers. So there's a high probability you're going to get swooped on, and they're going to give you a breathalyzer. But anyways, he already had one of them. He wasn't even 21 yet. In fact, so we was getting down, and between the 4 of us, we knew probably about every stripper in town. You got a tattoo parlor, a nightclub, and 4 idiots. So, you know, it is what it is. Met some really cool people though, but ended up with a pretty massive cocaine habit. Actually, I had 1 report date left on my 5 years. Literally, all I had to do was go in, do a swab, some paperwork, maybe fingerprints, and then you're done. I could not quit doing cocaine long enough to take the chance on getting drug tested, which I don't, honestly, I think they just wanted me gone. So I didn't go. That ends up getting me sent back later on. I'm back in Kentucky and back into the meth thing, and just my name got mentioned in a manufacturing case, and next thing you know, I've got a warrant for absconding from Ohio. End up living in between Seattle, Washington, and Puyallup, or Tacoma, in a place called Puyallup. And I got sober, and man, I remember I hit 205, and what I wouldn't give to get down to 205 now, but back then, man, like I was 185, had the Abercrombie abs and the whole 9 yards, and man, I miss being young. But anyways, it's like I got out there, and I got me a little job, and I was sober, and I was working, and I was getting straightened out, and I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I'm going to be 5 or 10 years into this, and finally build me up and have a place and a vehicle and be established, and I'm going to get pulled over for no turn signal or something stupid, and I'm going to prison. So I need to deal with this. So I called up probation and parole, and I can't remember if it was, I guess Ohio is who I called. Might have been Kentucky, because that's where my warrant was out of. I can't remember. Anyways, the lady was like, "You're where?" And I'm like, Washington State. She was like, I was like, "I want to turn myself in." And she was kind of taken back, and I briefly explained to her why. She's like, "Well, do you want us to send the marshals?" And I'm like, "No, I'll get my own way." So I took a Greyhound. I did 3 round trips from Dayton to Washington in 1 year. Just a really stormy season of my life. Looking back, like, I was young, and man, I was lost, and I didn't know, what I was wanting to do, but I knew I had to get right with this. So I had met another homie, Raph. Actually, man, I don't know how much of this I want to disclose. I forgot what I was saying. Anyways, at some point, I had decided I was going to take some tax money and buy some cocaine and get my flip on. Because I got to say, I was always about my hustle. Learned real quick that I wasn't good at just being like a drug addict. Like, if I was, because then you had to buy the drugs. And I like to just stay so high that I didn't do nothing else. So I don't leave much time for working. So I'm gonna do drugs, might as well sell drugs to get them for free, right? That was always my mentality. And so ended up with a best friend who I had met along my journey, not to buy it from him, but he actually had stopped me from doing that horrible deed and took me home with him to get me on the path of righteousness. And as he's laying there wallowing on his couch, and it's like the first time, maybe second or third time we'd ever met, I'm tweaked. So I'm not sleeping. I'm just staring at him, and like thousands of dollars are cash are falling out of his pocket. He can't keep up with his car keys for nothing. I've seen the man lose his keys more times than I've drove a nail, and I've built a lot of stuff. But anyways, I could have peeled him. Like, it was a lick. I mean, I could have picked up enough money and just literally opened the door, been gone, and went and found another plug and been up thousands. He wakes up, I'm sitting there staring at him like, "Hey, you dropped something." Long story short, we, man, that's been some years ago. I was the best man at his wedding. Consider him a brother for sure. I love you, Raph, man. We got some history. You're going to be on here hopefully one day, so we'll cover that then. I'm going to keep this pushing. So, yeah, I'm coming on the Greyhound from Washington State to turn myself in. Planned on going to Raph's, who was living way up in Indiana. I had a layover in Chicago. Raph come swoop me because I was close. We went to Indiana, kicked it for a couple days. I was going to come home to Kentucky, see my kids and my family, and then go turn myself into jail. The only problem is we waited a little too long to leave. So it was like 2 in the morning. We're coming through Brookville, Indiana. We're in a Jaguar. Raph is Filipino. Golds were all tatted up, looking like a court case. And we just went through Wendy's, man, and we get these blue lights, and I'm like, immediately, I'm like, damn. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Man, I should have ate something." He's like, "Oh, you're good, you're good. They ain't gonna do nothing." Then I heard the second and the third cop car pull up, and I just started emptying my pockets. Like, here's my phone, here's my this, here's my that. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. I did not get to come home. I did, however, get to go to jail in Brookville, Indiana, where I was held until they transported me back to Kentucky, where I had a revocation hearing on my parole. Consequently, they revoked it, sent me back to the prison this time. So I'm like, man, I'm going to have to do a year. I was pressed out, but, you pay, you play. And Mom kept telling me, she's like, "No, it says on the internet, man, 6 months and you go up for parole." And I'm like, "There ain't no way. I got 5 years. I got to do a year." Grace of God, they blessed me. counted the first 6 months toward my 12 to the board. So I did 6 months, got out. I did another 5 years of parole. So I turned my 6 months 5 for 5 into 12 months 10 for 10. But it is what it is. And I was up and down. I worked. Matter of fact, I mean, disclaimer: there's probably going to be a little bit of language on here. Definitely going to be some adult topics on this channel. But I've swung a hammer and sold dope the majority of my life, so I'm really good at cussing, and I have a horrible tendency. I really like. I've quit drugs and alcohol, and even quit smoking cigarettes. But man, I just struggle with the profanity. But it's something I'm working on. Show me a little bit of grace. I'm probably going to drop an F-bomb here or there, and I'm not going to edit it because this is raw dog, real as it gets, and I'm going to leave it that way. I just apologize in advance. Back to the swinging the hammer. I was fortunate enough to get a job when I was 18. My uncle got me a job for Dwayne Cheney. Dude was a beast. We built pole barns and a little bit of everything, but majority of pole barns and a few tobacco barns, which sucked. I recommend everybody build one. It'll make you realize that regular work is awesome, and tobacco barns, they suck. They're hard, they're heavy, and they're tall. So I was scared of heights too, still am, but it is what it is. Dude was a beast. He was a legend. Best to ever do it. Probably guaranteed the hardest. You would not outwork this man. He's, I don't know, he's got to be 120 right now. I'm just playing. He's I don't know, maybe 60s, pushing 70, and still outwork 99.9% of the people on this planet. He's just and he shaped me a lot, just morally and like my work ethic and my skills tremendously. Like, I was very fortunate to meet this man, and it took me years to even realize, but like, I soaked up so much knowledge, and it changed my life. That's what I do now. I own my own business. It's Burger Built. I build barns. I'll put a link down here. Holler at me. And if he was a coach, this dude he'd just be ringed up. He bred champions. You know, Brian and Josh and Dugan, JR, and myself. We all are self-employed, own our own business in construction, mainly pole barns. I'm sorry, boys, but we all know I'm his favorite. He did ask me if I would be his real son, and I told him I would think about it, depending on what the child support looked like. God, he's going to be pissed. Amber shows him this, boy. He's going to have a stroke. He'll be calling me, "What are you stupid on Facebook? It'll take me a Uber to come beat your ass." But anyways, sorry, Daddy. So anyways, yeah, man, I'm getting sidetracked. I had fallen back off. I'm trying to think. I can't think of the year, man. But I was getting high again, and started off just getting high. And I, you know, of course, I've had kids along the way. I've skipped a lot. I mean, if there's any interest, we'll get. This is the condensed version of my life. We can get in further detail some other time. Like I said, I just want you all to get to know me, and I'm just putting it out there and just keeping it real so we can set the tone. That's what I want this to be about. Because I know some people, man, that they got stories that make this one look like Sunday school. But have went on, turned it around 180, and are just glowed up right now, and it's a beautiful thing. So where we at right here, you can do whatever you want to do. Don't let nobody put you in a box, because yeah, you can't tell me nothing. Anyways, I was working for Dwayne, and I started dabbling back with the meth, and next thing you know, I'm buying grams maybe, and it's like, well, give me an 8-ball. Then flash forward a couple years, man, and I was moving some pretty significant weight. Not going to really get into details. I will say that when I walked away, which I had no reason to quit, man, I was the plug around here, small level. I kept a knot of money, unlimited access to just chunks of dope, and everything that come along with that lifestyle. Looked like Skeletor. I might try to edit some pictures in here right now. Yeah, that was me 2017, 19-ish, anyways. But when I walked away, I had a pound as my personal sack of meth. That's like, that was mine. That was just, that's what that was mine. That was, and I was cash up front anyways, but it was, I really want to incriminate myself, but I don't live that life anymore at all. And I don't recommend it for anybody. I mean, you cannot pay me any amount of money to go back to, it's just looking back, man, it's such a huge waste of time and like my life. Just so lost, man. It's such a dark place. Such a dark place. And it was horrible. I remember, and I battled part of the long-term effects that I was talking about were also depression and suicidal ideology or something, man. I can remember laying right over there in this basement for, man, sometimes it might be a week or two at a time, and just be going through it, just so depressed and down and out. And man, it just, so many relationships struggled, like with my kids, and you know, just everybody in my life, man. I mean, and that's what I was getting at. Like, I've been dragging stuff around with me for 40 years and letting it just ruin beautiful things. But back to the drugs, and I've, to anybody struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, or just fantasizing as an out, and it's not that you don't want to live, but it's just like you just want to turn it off, man. And I get it. I've been there. I ain't there right now though. Praise God. Hopefully I never will be again. So I walked away. It was in I want to say March of 2019. That's me. And I didn't really do it on purpose. Wasn't planning it. It's like, I don't know my exact date. I'm going to claim March 2019 at some point. And man, just one thing led to another, and was doing some work around here, and my cousin came home, and he did a significant amount of time. He was 16 years old when he caught his charge, and I'm not going to get into that either until I get some clearance, and I'm hoping to talk him into coming on here and sharing a story. But he was 16, ended up catching a 19-year sentence, and did 16 and some change in prison. Well, he just got out, man, what's it been, 6 years, I think. Sounds right. That mathing. But he got out, came back in my life, man, and he caught that charge right after I went to jail in 2001. Story for another time. But he was doing good, and man, I'm super proud of him. I thought he was going to come home institutionalized and like shank somebody in the neck because they cut him at McDonald's or something. And man, he's my best friend number 2, ride or die. Trust him with not only my everything I own, but any password, key, my family. The most stand-up, solid, trustworthy, respectful, down to earth, on the same page as me human being that I have probably ever met. So you look at him on paper, you'd be like, oh, man, this dude's nuts, but he's not. Now, don't get me wrong, he'll go. Anybody will. Most people will if you push them to the right point. We ain't trying to live like that, though. He's just, I love you, bro. I'm not going to put your name on it, but I'm super proud and thankful to have you as a daily part of my life right now. Right-hand man, all the way to the top, homie. All the way up. Anyway, so he comes out. We've been working together. Ended up kind of accidentally reforming my business that I had technically, LLC'd back in about 12 years ago, something like that, right before the birth of my oldest daughter. She's 11. So yeah, and man, it just took off. It's amazing what sobriety and actually like outgrowing just some dumb stuff. And we're all young, but man, it's like some of us carry that stuff on for A, to a much higher level, and B, for man, I know people that are pushing 50, 60 years old, still strung out partying like we're in our teens or 20s, man, and ain't got nothing. And it's like, I feel so, and I just feel for them, and it's like, I know they're lost, and I just pray for them, man. There's ways out, and I just pray that they gotta want it. But then, man, if you want it, reach out, and we'll get you connected with somebody that can get you some kind of help or a resource or connection to something better than whatever you're doing. And that goes for any kind of drug or any type of person that you want to change, man. I will do anything in my power to, maybe I can't personally help you, but I will try to get you connected to someone who can. And I've been blessed to meet quite a few people that have a lot of potential to do something like that. But yeah, business is good. I found me a girl. That's another thing. One of the long-term effects is building and maintaining healthy relationships. Man, it's like the drugs and alcohol make it nearly impossible. But I thought that get rid of that, and I got it made. It's like it ain't that easy, man. There's you got to unlearn a lot of behaviors. You got to just a lot of defense mechanism, and it goes back to the 6-year-old, man. Like, I can't help but think that I learned to like cut off and shut down and disassociate, and just, I don't know, man. I'm hard to love. I'm very hard to love at times. So yeah, I've had some things cost me kind of dearly, but that's another story as well. I trust God and His plan. He's got me. He always has. So, Lord willing, I mean, I don't think He's going to give up on me now. So, we'll see. But yeah, man, I've found a home at church. I'm not going to say which one as of now. Again, if you're interested in that, reach out, and I will get you connected to somebody that can, get you where you need to be to kind of either pursue or to pick back up on your walk with God. Or you gotta think, like I said, I was 10 getting baptized in the creek by my daddy, and next thing you know, I'm 40 slinging pounds of meth, and it's like, it ain't never too late to turn it around. I have been and have known people to be in the darkest, deepest, grimiest places and just rock bottom. I'm talking scraping off the bottom, and by the grace of God, or whatever you choose to give credit to, have bounced back 180'd and just become extremely successful in business and in their family life, and just stand up blessings to be around. And I plan to introduce you guys to as many of those people as I possibly can and share their stories. And that's just that pretty much covers me. Like I said, that was pretty condensed. Feel free to share this and like it, subscribe it. That way when we actually get to the next episode, which it might be a week or two, but I plan to stay on this. Like I said, I really felt just compelled out of absolutely left field, like hit me like, this is what I want you to do. Like even down to the name, Chat It Up, it just hit me like. So I'm gonna pretty aggressively pursue this. And I've got a really steep learning curve as far as this equipment that I'm going to start having to learn how to like really use and put something out that, mainly I want the content to hit, like the topics and discussions and just the experiences and stories. I want, that's goal number one. Number two is, I want it to be appealing and like decent audio and cool video and, you know, snazzy to watch. But I promise it will be a much different look the next time. Consider, like I said, like it, share it, subscribe. That way when the next one hits, you'll know. And I promise to be leaps and bounds above today. But that's what it is, and that's where we're at. And that's where we're heading. Peace.